In this video, I'm going to walk you guys through practice exercise 3.5. I'm getting some questions. This will be just another one of the early on exercises to try to have you guys practice and learn how to use the Tinkercad with Arduino programming here. So what I want to do is we're going to go all the way from the beginning to the end of this exercise. So what I would encourage you guys to do is to watch the video up to the point where you're getting help. Try to do it on your own. If you're running into some issue, continue on watching the video. I'd really like you guys to learn the best you can with this instead of letting me show you how to do each of the exercises. But if you need it, use the video and then this will hopefully help you on the next one or the remaining ones that we have. So let's start off. I've got exercise 3.5 here. What I want you guys to do is if you're having trouble writing the programs, let's go through some logic. So what I'm going to do is I have my practice exercise up and I am going to grab the a Word document so that we can go through and write the logic. So exercise 3.5 says write a program that operates a train crossing light. The light should flash at a rate of 2 hertz on off in 1 second and operate for 20 seconds. Okay, so let's go through and write the logic. So I've got logic for exercise 3.5. I'm going to do a numbered list here so we can go through each of the steps that it's going to do. So after once we start the program, what I want this thing to do is I want it to loop for, I'm going to call it 40 times. Now in this case it says 20 seconds, but the cycle is on, off in 20 seconds. And I'm going to write a program to flash on, off. So if it goes on, off, that's going to do that 40 times. So I'm going to loop this thing for 40 times. Then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on light 1 and I'm going to turn off light 2. Now when we have a train crossing, it's not real obvious here, but in a train crossing we have 2 lights and then they'll alternate back and forth, and that's what we're going to do here. So one light's going to be on, one light's going to be off, and they're going to alternate back and forth. So turn one light on, turn the other light off. Then I'm going to wait. Now I need to get the timing right for 2 hertz. So the way to think of this is that one light is going to flash at 2 hertz. The other one's just going to be opposite of that. So the one light will be on for, it'll be on, off in 1 second. So that's four sections. Each section is going to be a quarter of a second. So I'm going to wait for a quarter second here. So once I wait that quarter second, then I'm going to turn off light 1 and I'm going to turn on light 2, and then I'm going to wait for a quarter second again, and then after that I've turned it on, I've turned it on, waited, turned it off, waited, and now I'm going to go back and loop to step 3. Oops, I'm sorry, to step 1. So I'm going to go back here and loop that whole thing 40 times. Then after it's done doing that for 40 times, I'm going to turn both lights off. So light 1 off, turn light 2 off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait 5 seconds just so I know my program's done at this point, because it's going to continue to loop. So now I've got my my logic for this exercise done. So let's go in and now start working on the program. So let's go into Tinkercad. Tinkercad will go into circuits, create a new circuit. Once we bring this new circuit up, we're going to start again. I'm going to just run through this quick since we've been through it a couple times. Oh no, I'll bring this over here. I'll bring my breadboard on. Rotate my breadboard, move my breadboard a little bit here, and then I'm going to, well, I can wire this up so I can do my ground real quick. So my ground there, and I'll make that black. I'm going to go over here to my 5 volts. And I'm going to make that one red. Okay, and then I'm going to start wiring up my LED. So I'm going to bring my LED over, rotate that guy. I'm going to need two of these, so I'm going to put one here, and put my resistor, connect it up, again 330 ohms. And I know I'm going fast here, but I know we've talked about this, so we should be able to, you guys should be able to follow along pretty quick. So I'm going to rotate this one around, and I'm going to put this one right here, put my resistor there. Because I have two lights, I need to have two resistors, two LEDs in there. So now I've got those. Now I just got to wire them up. So I'm going to go from here to there. This is our negative connection. Here to there. And negative connection. Now I need to have two I/O pins that are going to control these LEDs. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a pin, and let's see, why don't we go to pin 9 right here. So I'll come up over, we'll go to pin 9, at that one, and then let's go to pin 4. We'll just pick pin 4. Again, this is just kind of arbitrary, whichever pin you want to use. I'm just going to use these. Okay, so now I've got that, and now I can make these orange, and I'll make this one orange too. Okay, so now I've got everything wired up, so next thing we want to do is start going in and doing the coding. So now we'll go into code, get rid of our blocks, go to text, and yes, we want to do this. So, okay, so now I've got my program here. I've got my logic over here so I can see both of these at the same time. So this is what makes it nice when we do the logic. It makes the program really easy to write. So first thing is when we do the void setup, this is telling the pin modes for each of the pins. And oops, let's go over here. I want to get this in a little bit here. I know it's kind of small. We don't have a lot of space on the screen here. And move this over just a little bit. Okay, so we've got two LEDs, two output pins, so we need to declare both of those pins. So we have pin 9, which is an output pin. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and copy it because I'm just going to reuse that same command. I'm going to paste that in here, but now I have a pin 4. So both of those pins are going to be my output. Now I've got that declared. So now I can go down to my loop. So my loop routine, first thing I want to do is I'm going to loop for 40 times. So now I need to write a for statement. So I'm going to put a space in here, and I'm going to say for int I equals 0, semicolon, I less than 40, semicolon, I plus plus, end parenthesis, and then I'm going to put in my left curly bracket. I've got my left curly bracket. Now I've got my for statement. Now the only other thing that I'm going to need is the end for statement, or the end curly bracket, and I'm going to put that in here too. And so now I've got between these two curly brackets, this one here and that one there is going to be for my for statement. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn light 1 on, and I'm going to turn light 2 off. So let's see. In this case, it doesn't matter which one's which, but I will do digital write. I'm going to make pin number 9 light 1. So I'm going to turn pin 1 on, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this command because we are going to reuse that. So then I will do this. I'm going to back this up, paste that in there, and I'm going to turn pin 4 low. So I'm going to put that in here, low. Oops, got to make sure I've got it capitalized. So now we've got low. So we've got step 2, digital write, pin 9 high. Step 3, to pin light 2 off. So we've got that, and then we need to wait a quarter second. So I'm going to get rid of this comment because we don't need it anymore. I'm changing this, so we're going to say 250 there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn light 1 off. So that's going to be pin number 9. And then I'm going to turn light light 2 on, so I'm going to paste this in there. Pin 2 is, or light 2 is pin 4, so we turn that on, and then again we're going to have a delay, and that delay is going to be 250, 250, and now we've got that all set. So now going over to my logic, I turn light 1 off, turn light 2, light 1 on, light 2 off, wait for a quarter second, turn light 1 off, turn light 2 on, wait a quarter second. That's what I've got. Loop back to step 1, so I'm going to let my for loop end right there, and I'm going to delete that up. So there's the end of my for loop. That'll take care of that. Then what I'm going to do is after that, I'm going to come up here and then turn both lights off. So I'm going to say digital right pin 9 low, and then I'm going to do pin 4 low. Oops, let's get that in there, low. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write a delay. I'm going to have a delay in here, so I'll say delay and 5 seconds, semicolon, bingo. And we have our last couple steps there. So now we can take a look, see if it worked. So we can start our simulation. It is running, and you can see the lights are alternating back and forth as they should. After 20 seconds, they both turn off, and wait for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, so it's going to continue on. So there we go. There's exercise 3.5.